keeps on doing, and it keeps on doing. It keeps on doing great things. Keeps on. It keeps on doing great things. He's never let me down. No, no, keeps on. I love him, and I love him, oh yeah. I gotta say it again. Keeps on doing great things. Yeah, it keeps on, yeah, keeps on.
And that is Benjamin Dube singing us into the studio today. And certainly he keeps doing great things. I am super excited and I welcome you today to build your business with your host, your chief fire igniter, talent alchemist, your people magnet and people connector. That's me, Atimbete, and I welcome you today to the show called Build Your Business. And we are in episode 12. I can't believe that since we've started the journey, we would certainly have made it this far, and it would have been a success without our amazing guests that are in studio. As we all know, the show is about bringing in various guests who are industry leaders, pathfinders, disruptors, and who are coming in to share and discuss about business empowerment topics, entrepreneurial topics, sharing best practices, learning new business skills and tools, and the nitty-gritty of running a successful business. And I said it last week that, you know, we are in Women's Month, and definitely we've got such strong, phenomenal, amazing women who are going to be coming into the studio virtually and otherwise, and sharing their journeys as well as entrepreneurs from a life perspective with our listeners today. And certainly I am not alone today. I've got a woman whom I consider to be a dynamite, one of the women that I consider and I believe that we certainly need to keep our eyes out for. She is doing great and exciting moves behind the scene. You know, there are always those people who are working behind the scenes, and you know that they're up to something, and it's a matter of time they erupt and blow us all over. Welcome, Nosy, to studio. Such an honor, and so delighted to have you today.
Thank you so much, Ati, for inviting me. I know we've had a long relationship when you're still back in your HR days. I'm so glad we've kept on the connecting and relationship that we've had. Thank you for inviting me to this episode as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm so delighted. And I remember the first time that I saw you, you were at the WIF conference in Cape Town, and you stood out there. You know, for me, the show is about bringing out people who certainly stand out. And I recall you raised a question, and at the time you were in the renewable space. But you'll share more about that. And you certainly struck a chord with me. Your presence, your personality, and how you projected your voice. For me, I was like, I need to take note and connect towards this woman. So I'm so honored once more to have you in studio. As mentioned, our guest is Nozibele Sokoni. And just to give you a quick bio about who she is, I'm not going to go much into detail about that. Like I said, she's a mover, she's a shaker, definitely working behind the scenes, but it's a matter of time that she emerges and all the world and the whole of South Africa will take note on who she is. So she holds a couple of qualifications in United, is it UNDP program and on Educator for Entrepreneurship program from GIBS, Circle of Global Businesswomen Social Entrepreneurship program from GIBS as well, and then also holds a qualification in mentoring and coaching from CETA that she got as well. Her areas of specialization is that she does training and development for entrepreneurs, business advisory, mentoring and coaching, a motivational speaker. She's also the founder, the chief fire igniter, as I'd love to put it, in a sense, the founder, the visionary behind Nozibele Solutions. Nozi, please tell us more about you for somebody who's tuning into the show today and doesn't know so much about you. Who are you? Where are you from? And what are you all about?
Thank you so much. Well, my name is Nozi, which is Nozibele, which means to be kind. I'm glad that my grandfather gave me that name, because really in this world, you need to have people who are kind. Kind,
Absolutely.
not just to their own situations, but kind to the things of what's happening around them in their community. Well, as Nozi, I started embarking on a journey, just seeing on what is happening in the South African landscape in terms of having no jobs. Coming from a corporate environment for over 10 years, I really had this passion that we need to close the gap where it comes to joblessness and having people to move to entrepreneurship. You know, the more I looked into the landscape of businesses between a year or even 0 months to 3 years, there were so many people who start businesses, but the percentage of people who stay with businesses after the 3-year mark, it's so dismal, you know? And for me, coming with solutions that will assist entrepreneurs who are from the 0 months to the 3-year mark was really what I wanted to pursue. And once you find out, even with the SETAs, they start from level 2. So if you are coming from an environment where you've been an employee, where you've never had a job, where you've never worked, there's no foundation one. So I created my own Nozibele Solutions, my own programs, just to assist people as a level 1 foundation before even coming to a new venture creation. You know, I always believe that that gap that I saw was there, as hard as it was for me to leave my job and pursue this passion, that no one understood, okay, where I'm coming from. It was a bit difficult for me to even start to say, okay, what does it mean being a motivational speaker? Because you get so many flack, especially in South Africa, where people say, motivational speakers. But for me, I understood that if you're coming from corporate or you're coming from an employed background, to starting a business in South Africa where there's hardly any angel investors. Hardly there's no one in your business, in your family home, who can say, I need 500, I need 50,000 rand to start a business. No one is assisting you in that way. I felt that you needed motivation as an SMME to first get your business started, to first even get the idea that you need or the things that you want to get going. So my business as Nozibele Solutions, I know I'm going more into my business than more myself as a person, really focuses on that 0, where you're either in ideation phase, you've just started the business, just for you to get over that 3-year mark. So I focus a lot on how do you get customers? Don't look at just the tender part of it. How do you develop yourself and the skill that you have to make sure that there's a market that needs your product? I'm telling you, even if you have an idea of crocheting, you might start with 1 client. That client might turn to 2, it might go to 5, but the more you can develop a customer base as a person. You know, for me, even during the COVID period, because I didn't have a contract from government, because I focus mostly on the PDIs, which are the previously disadvantaged individuals. I couldn't get contracts because municipality or a business must pay for the person to attend some of my courses. But because I didn't have a contract, I actually went out, discounted my services, and I would get 2 clients a month. I would get a client there online, you know, so I didn't stop the hustle of making sure that there's a customer so that I can be able to have a turnover by the end of the month. So those small things for me, those are the things I train entrepreneurs on, to say, let me get a customer. Let me be able to write a proposal in the things that I want outside of a tender. Because already in this tender, it only wants 1 person, and there's 50,000 people who apply for 1 tender. You know,
the same
what
thing.
must I do?
You're saying something so profound, Nozi, you know, because it might seem small, but very crucial in the survival of the business. It's things that we really truly take for granted and so light, building that customer base, building the customer excellence within our businesses, knowing how to get out there and knock on the doors and all of that, but yet so powerful. And as you're talking, for me, I envision your business sort of like being after the midwife, and a child has been birthed, there needs to be the nursing of the child to ensure the baby has enough nutrients, the calcium is built to ensure that eventually the baby is able to crawl from crawling to be able to stand. Which is absolutely powerful and something so niche and profound because it's not something that's done every day, but at the same time, because it's very demanding.
Yes, hence I said it's Nozibele's solution. So I don't want people to fight me on it because it's my idea that I've had for a while. And really, when you talk about that birthing, you need that motivation to say, you know, the reason why I actually was more on the motivation was you'd find entrepreneurs when you sit down with them and you see with their business, when you account the time that they put into a business in a week, it'd be less than 4 hours sometimes. So for me, it'd be like, what hours? If you're not going to put the hours, you're not going to get the right results at the end of the day. So hence I train them as well and motivate them to put the hours behind their business as well. I even train on business development or some of the businesses that have already been established in this 3-year period so that they can be able to advance to new levels. I show them ways of even getting into SADC region in terms of their tenders, because I believe if you're a level 3 or if you're level 3 in South Africa in doing business and you've been doing it for some time, there should not be a reason for you to say, let me move my business into Africa, you know, or into other parts of the world. So that's what I always try to tell people who are developing within this 3-year period as well. I also train entrepreneurs on how to do a business plan preparation. So a lot of the time people will get someone to do their business plan for them. They get the job to come and explain now or to present in front of an executive or a board of an institution. And they cannot express themselves in terms of what is it that this business does. So I work with entrepreneurs to tell them line by line to know and prepare themselves on their business plan and where their idea is going to. And it's proven quite formidable for even some entrepreneurs in helping them to communicate much better, to put their ideas across much better as well.
No, absolutely. I'm getting like goosebumps and I'm getting excited as you're talking, because like I said, what you're doing is so rare. The word that comes into my head would be sort of like you are a shift catalyst from ideation phase to actually seeing the product or the service or the company coming into full manifestation. What was not there, which was an idea in the head, conceptualized and in full effect, running fully functioning. And I think it's such a self-sacrificial service to do that, because everybody is so busy and doesn't have time. And especially people that are experts, they don't have time to sit and say, okay, fine, I'm going to help you with the basics. Besides people going to your typical, you know, your government parastatals, your CEDAs that help you with the A, B, C's and D's of business. But what you're doing is comprehensive and holistic and, like I said, never been done, very rare in South Africa. So I'm very proud of you for that, Nozi. Now, tell me about your childhood, your upbringing, because I always say how you were raised definitely influences you, whether you are in business or whether you are in corporate, either to have that drive or you will be somebody who's very laid back or whatever the case might be. How was your childhood?
So I was born with both a mom and a dad, and they loved me so much. I have 2 other sisters, but one of the things was I really got, because I was darker skinned. So my other sisters, like yours, is like you, Artie, and then the other one is more like me. But I had an inferior complex about me and how the world sees me. And I really think sometimes people always says, maybe you should have done your business. I launched my business 3 years ago, and it maybe should have been fruitful and should be in another place. But for me as Nozi, I always had that thing of, I'm not so good. I'm not, you know, the way I viewed myself, really being the best you can be is significant, because I had to take that journey as Nozi to realize that I'm actually the best in how I look, in the things that I do. I talk about mostly these inner muscles. And these inner muscles I've developed when I was still a child, but I didn't know that I would actually be talking about these inner muscles that I was building when I was younger. Because I was the firstborn child, obviously I had to make the tea, make the things for my mom more.
I know, I'm a firstborn.
You know, the pressure from my other siblings, you know.
Yes.
So I grew up knowing how to cook. You know, I love cooking. I love doing things, cleaning, making sure the house is nice and clean. So all of those pressures that I had. But now that I'm older, I've realized that actually in everything that I was doing, even during my childhood, that muscle of excellence that was producing the quality muscle was always there from that childhood, you know. So everything that my parents did for me, you know, was always very structured in terms of, okay, because they were teachers, you know, they were very much responsible person,
I can imagine,
you know,
order, time.
So they were good at mentoring. You know, my dad was a great mentor. You know, a lot of the teachers who've excelled in the Eastern Cape really were taught by my dad, some of them in terms of the schooling, etc. So that order was there, luckily. But the inferior complex of how I viewed myself as Nozi was totally not there. And I had to build that with time to say, actually, there's something about you, you know, don't put yourself in a hidden vessel or a hidden corner, you know, just go out there and preach your gospel in terms of who you are and the things that you're doing as well.
And
so
look at you now.
definitely,
I love the fact that, you know, you've done the inner work, because it's very important, I believe, as an entrepreneur or somebody who's in corporate as well. If you are driven, goal-driven, you want to succeed, there's inner work that you need to do first that can be a hindrance in your success and the things that you want to attain and achieve in life. So absolutely powerful and very profound. Now, Nozi, coming from corporate, like I said, the last time, first in the time that we met in Cape Town, your company flew into the conference, the AWIS conference. At the time, you were, I don't know if it was a renewable energy company that you're working for. Tell me about the transition from such an amazing organization, you networking, getting to meet all these type of people, not only from Africa, but globally, and then coming into Nozibele Solutions. How did that go about? You know, the salary, the fixed income, and then all of a sudden, boom, you are here on your own and starting this baby.
You know, sometimes I always wish my mom is alive to see now, because she died at that time of the transition, you know, and to live a salary of, like, I was getting paid very well. I was being headhunted by companies globally as well. And I had grown myself because of these internal muscles from being a reception in that company to being the role that I was. So, yeah, I was a receptionist. I was actually hired.
You started off as a receptionist?
I was hired there as a receptionist, and I moved and transitioned myself to being the business and customer relations for the whole of South Africa for that company within a 10-year space. So yeah, it goes back to the internal muscles that I.
It goes back to the inner muscle, yes.
And my slogan of my company is called innovation through self-mastery. You must know who you are as a person. And I think that is the innovative part that I try to bring to entrepreneurs as well, to just know themselves and who they are. Because if you know who you are, you can stand in front of anyone in the world and be able to express who you are and what is it that you are doing. So after some time, I had left the company and I took another position where I was headhunted on, but I just felt that I can do this for myself. There was just that urge that I felt, and being someone who's spiritual, who loves God. The one day I even had a contract, you know, in my hand, and I was praying over it in the night, and God was just saying, if you sign that contract, you'll be taking another 7 years that Jacob had to work for the wife, you know. And I just felt deep down inside of me that I cannot do another 7 years, you know. And luckily it's been 3 years, it hasn't been 7 years as yet, but the struggle of being on your own, you know. And then there's COVID that came in as well. Luckily,
because we started around the time of COVID. Was it before COVID or just after COVID?
So I relaunched. I relaunched the business in 2018. And right after the launch, I luckily got a contract with the eThekwini municipality. I had a good year, 2018, end of 2018, 2019. I trained over 450 entrepreneurs for eThekwini municipality. At this time as well, I started volunteering within the Durban University of Technology, just assisting some of the students there in terms of mentoring and coaching. And as that developed, and I was starting already to speak even with the women's programs. I even got a chance to travel in Istanbul, Turkey, and I was a speaker there, motivating some of the women there as well. And then COVID started. The contract came and it expired. So in the time of COVID, you know, at first, the first couple of months, I was like, okay, things are going to get better. You know, you motivate yourself, but time is moving, you know, there's more. Things are going to get better. But things were just getting like, you know, things were getting drier. The state of disaster in terms of the country was, things were being closed. But you know what? Because I'm a developer, I found ways to develop myself even further. So both of my GIBS qualifications, I did them during the time of COVID. And I loved connecting online and studying, you know, and getting that opportunity as well. So I just took it as a time to develop myself further as
I love that you are very proactive, absolutely proactive. Yeah. Instead of wallowing and having a pity party about quiet business, you went and self-developed yourself.
Self-developed myself without stopping sending those proposals to all of these agencies, because for me, I need municipalities, I need corporates to pay for the PDIs to be able to do the programs. I run a 4-day entrepreneurship program for entrepreneurs, and it's been very, very successful with the eThekwini municipality. I want to do that all over South Africa, because I really believe SMMEs really need that program. It does come with the coaching element in it, because sometimes you find, especially with the Black culture, the moment you start your own thing, it's like some wall has been opened, something goes wrong. And how do you deal with that as a solo entrepreneur? You know, how do you deal with that? And it gets to be on a spiritual level as well. You know, so I try and I help people from that aspect, because I believe in God, because He's really positioned me for that in the kingdom of God. I always talk, and I have this tagline where I tell people that you're God's DNA, because I've realized that standing on that word that said, you know, He said in Genesis, you're blessed, multiply, take dominion. And a lot of the time, we don't use those words. We don't want to multiply. We don't want to take that dominance. And for me, knowing that I'm God's DNA, knowing that in 1982, when I was born by my parents, that manufacturer's stamp from God, from heaven, was saying, Nozi, you are ready. And I think for me, that what always gets me up in the morning, I always try by all means to go towards the positive more than the negative. Why do I do that? Even if things are negative, things are not going well, but I choose to choose the positive, because I want to multiply. I want to be dominant. I want
the
to
identification
know,
when you get to the
identification
through the self-mastery and the mastery through God, when you've identified yourself, who you are in God, and you understand what it is to be His DNA. So powerful, Nozi, so profound. I'm blown, because I love the fact that you fuse the spiritual and the commercial. We're bringing God into the marketplaces. We're bringing God into government. We're bringing God into the training and the coaching spaces. And we're bringing God even to those who want to birth out businesses. You are a midwife. You are a nurse, if I can say, in that context. Now, you talk about COVID, your business starting doing well. What were the powerful lessons, you know, that you took from COVID for you, and things that you'd like to share to any entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur who might learn from those valuable nuggets that you learned for yourself? Because I believe there are powerful lessons for you.
So already I mentioned two inner muscles, which was the excellence, the quality.
Yes.
There's one that I always talk about, overcoming obstacles. There's one that says I'm authentic as a person. And then I've got a limitless outlook in the things of where my future will go and will be. So you must have that limitless outlook. But
Love
within
that.
COVID time, I added some muscles in there. And one of them was my habits. You know, it's easy when you're at home in your gown and you can just lounge and do whatever, you know, you don't have to go see clients. But now your habit of, I have to go out there again, make sure that I look good, make sure that I wake up, see the clients, make sure your phone, you do that cold calling. It's the habit that you must increase
because
within
habits of
yourself as an
consistency.
SMME.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah.
Consistency as well. And then the other muscle was this resilience. You know, you have to be resilient as an SMME. Not everyone has had the challenges that I've had. But for me as Nozi, the other thing is the moment I started my business, a lot of things, you know, I lost my mom, I lost my dad. I don't want to even go towards the negatives, but I had to have a muscle of resilience to go over. You know, I think there was a time I was so down where when you looked at myself, you would not even see that this is the Nozi who used to be in corporate. But something in me, and God gave me the ability to do a 20-day a campaign on me as Nozi. And I've got that on my WhatsApp, on my Instagram. And that 20-day campaign, every single day.
I love that. Tell me about that, the 20-day campaign, because we always hear campaigns in rallies, in politics and whatever. We don't have like individual campaigns.
Individual campaign of how you think. And it's so funny that I've got two international people that I've spoken to with like for interviews, etc. And they mentioned that 20-day campaign. And actually, you know, it's important to even listen to God, because he said 20 days and I did that 20 days. On that 21st day, I got an award of being the best champion award in KZN, like randomly. On day 21. So sometimes you always think, 21 days is, but you just have to have that listening voice to God, number one. Have that relationship with him. And for me, that 20-day campaign got me back to, okay, let me get back to being Nozi, you know, despite everything else that was happening in my life, because that muscle of resilience, of saying, no matter what, you know, I can't even give examples because it's other people's things, but you know, there's entrepreneurs that I've mentored, and the next day they couldn't walk, they couldn't do anything, because it's the spirit that is fighting you, knowing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much that one goes through in finding who they are, and being able to pray for that person, to say the right things as well, because sometimes we just pray prayers that
random.
God does not even random. Random. So I've learned to be very clear and precise with God in my words and the things that I say to him, and how I pray then for my SMMEs and the people that interact with me as a coach and a mentor. And those things don't happen without you getting the exercise. It's like an exercise machine, you know, that you are on, and it takes some time for you to develop those muscles. And really, I cannot stand here and talk to people and not say I'm so grateful for the covenant I have with God, you know, because really it's the one thing that has brought me here, and I'm here and I'm standing today. Yes, I know my business is going to take flight, just as you said, and I received those words when you said earlier on.
It's a matter of time. From a track record, from receptionist within 10 years, working your way up into a head role within an organization, heading up South Africa, and starting this. And I mean, as you're talking, it's something that I believe what Nozibole Solution is bringing that must be absorbed by most, in fact, all municipalities within South Africa, because we truly have a serious crisis. I'm still in HR. The numbers are not going down of people that are unemployed. And the next truth and the reality for people to create immediate income is getting into the entrepreneurship space while you're still waiting for the job. I'm blown away, Nozi. Now, coming back to your, I know God is the forefront in terms of what you do. And I know that you had such a great, powerful relationship with your parents as well, who have been a pillar for you, who is that pillar for you currently now? Because to carry such a weight and a responsibility of people's businesses, you know, bringing them into a place of full-on fruition, it means that you need to have strong pillars behind you, you know, to hold you and support you to bring these visions to pass. And who are those, or who has been those people playing that crucial role in your life?
So definitely, I always say I'm so grateful to have a husband that I have, as much as we've had difficulties in the past 3 years, but he's definitely someone that I put up there. I'm so grateful that I have him. I can get around, I can have something to eat every month, you know, type of situation. But, you know, there was a time where having and calling an anonymous mentor just to help me. I actually did a 3-month program with someone else in Cape Town. I got them online, and I just started speaking to them with what I was going through at that time. It helped me so much, you know, it helped me so much. But as well, I do have close friends, very, very close friends. I don't have a big circle of friends that I can call, lean on, and just call and say, how are you? How's this? They can even pray with me. You know, I'm thinking of a Princess Muke now of Lindy Lou's in Zululand, in Nongoma. And she even prays with me. We talk, we have nights where we go and have popcorn till 2 a.m. in the morning, just chilling and just being us, you know. And then I've got my other friend who knows this. She's got the same name as me, but she's Nozipho. She's in Umtata. And we just chat about anything, family. And those are really the people that I can really say they are my stronghold in terms of talking anything, anyhow. I do have 2 sisters-in-laws as well, and my 2 sisters as well, in terms of family that I can talk to and interact with as much as I can. Yeah.
No, absolutely powerful. So the support structure as an entrepreneur, you know, the pillars are quite crucial to ensure that you stand and you are able to drive the responsibilities that you have. And motherhood, any kids that you have?
Oh, definitely. I've got 2 boys. One is 14 and the other one is 10. And they are my support system. They always say, Mom, made of money. You know, they'll always tell you, oh, wear this. Oh, Mom, you know, they just want me always to be the best Nozi that I can be. They are my 2 supporters. And they are the 2 people who've even shown me a gap in the schooling system, because they had to move. We've moved from Durban to Port Edward, and they're coming to the local schools here. And you know, for my kids to see a gap in what's happening within the local schools or the public schools within the South African atmosphere is so awesome. So we're busy working on a program with them that we'll be doing on holidays for some of the kids around. So they're already entrepreneurial. They already know exactly what is it that they want.
They've definitely taken on after mom in terms of identity.
Definitely know what is it that they want.
Strategy and
especially the second one, who's 10, he's more like, Mom, you know, his mind is like way ahead of the gap. But definitely they want to do this program just to assist kids, because you find that all of our books are written in English, but we so much on home language and they don't know the English. How can we do programs so that they can understand English very, very well, so that they can pass? Because it's not like the kids are not clever. The kids are very, very clever. They're very much it's the language barrier. And if we can start doing programs around that, just on a, not even on a schooling method, but just fun way.
Yes.
So we're looking at that, and I'll be doing that.
And comfortable.
More exposed. It can be 2 days here or 2 days, but definitely over the holidays, I'll be doing a program with my 2 boys, just to assist some of the kids around here, just to get their English going and learning much more and making it fun when they go back to school.
Those are definitely 2 sparkling warriors, and I can't also wait to see, you know, because it sounds like definitely a big, exciting program. They are solutionists solving problems that where others have failed, our government failed to do, and they're coming in and stepping in to solve that. Now, Nozi, tell me about Unozimele Solutions, your goals for the business. You know, when you started, everybody, when we start our companies, you know, we have ideas that eventually I want to be a multi-millionaire, have a global footprint, a footprint into Africa. What are those goals for you? Those are hairy, audacious goals that keep you at night, even when the invoices are not coming in, but you're like, I'm not quitting because this is what I've aimed. Because you said something so powerful. You said limitless limitless, some days I was like, I'm seeing that. So what are those hairy, audacious goals for your business that keep you up at night, even when you feel like throwing the towel, you be like, but I can't because I've got this that's waiting for me that I need to attain?
So I recently came out of surgery to do I had gallstone problems, and it was so painful. So 2 months out of business, and I really felt being a solopreneur. And one of those audacious goals I have is I want to be a large organization. The quicker, the better. The more people that can come in and help me in my business and move it into that role of being a large organization. That is all that I want out of Nozibele Solutions currently. Luckily, I always tell entrepreneurs before wanting to go to Africa and the globe, what does your community know about you? What does your block know about you? What solutions have you gotten right around the block? Luckily for me, in my block, since I've moved, I stay 4 kilometers from the Wild Coast Sun. And already now, being close to them, I'm part of their subcommittee under the CSI to just assist with entrepreneurs for the next 3 years. So I'm really excited about that.
Already making an impact.
And being a large...
Already making an impact within a short space of time.
So already within these 2 years to be there and to make an impact, they're the biggest casino in South Africa. So already for me, I'm grateful to God every single day just to make that impact there. We're launching next week on the 24th of August, the Eagles Business Awards, which will showcase some of the SMEs around this area with the Wild Coast Sun. So I'm really, really excited about that currently.
Look at you coming in and stepping and doing great things. You're just walking into. I definitely believe it's the mindset. It goes back to what you said, the identity. When you are clear about who you are, who God says you are, even the right opportunities, the right people begin to align with you, because there's this clarity and precision that you talk of, that you don't have to struggle. You don't have to struggle. Now, tell me, what makes you excited about your business? You know, what gives you that satisfaction that at the end of the day, you will sleep peacefully knowing that I've done this? What gives you that satisfaction?
So the satisfaction that gets me going is just to be a miracle to someone else. You know, when it comes to an SMME, it can be a rand, it can be a phone call, it can be just checking up on their business, giving them a referral. You know, and for me, connecting SMMEs around my circle of influence, I always say it's my circle of influence, just to help someone to get to that just to be that link for me, and to be that miracle is what really gets me going. You know, my phone, I have over 44,000 minutes in a month. And there was a time when after launching my business, it was getting so hectic. I was getting calls like midnight, you know, just mentoring people and assisting them, you know, whether praying, business advice. So I definitely want to have a call center one day, because I really believe that there's a huge gap in South Africa for SMMEs having a hotline in that way. Just to assist them. And I had to actually start streamlining it, because now my husband would be like, these people are calling you in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., you know, whatever. But I had to start saying that on Tuesdays now it's SMMEs, you know, so anyone on a Tuesday who's an SMME, they can phone me. And I think it goes back to my personal campaign that I did, the 20-day one, that on Monday I more motivate, on Tuesday it's entrepreneurship corner, on Wednesday it's the scripture day, on Thursday. So it's just my thinking, how I think as Nozi and as a person, and to streamline things according to how you perceive yourself and let the world know about that. Definitely, that's something that I'm really grateful to God that I can be able to assist and connect people wherever I am and wherever I'm going. And if I can do that to one person in one day, there's 365 days. Then that means I've helped 365 people in a day. And when you are a mentor, it's really about giving back, coaching that person, seeing them moving from one level to the other. And for me, it might just be the mind unlocking. That is a solution that I bring to someone. And because some people want physical cash, you know, this is what I got from Nozi. for me, just being around me and you leaving my presence and saying, wow, I think in a different way after seeing this girl or talking to this girl is already for me a plus. And I'm excited when those kind of things happen.
Yeah.
If it's a plus, if then you go and get a proposal and you win it, I'm even more excited, definitely. Yeah.
No, super amazing. Super amazing. No, a lot of stuff is going in my head as you're talking, because I feel that you have so much to offer and the right solutions, which are so timely and much needed in this country, and I think across Africa and the globe as well. For somebody who doesn't know much about your business, over above training and the training that you offer to entrepreneurships, can you tell us more and just unpack in detail as well? What are the other service offerings of Nozibele Solutions? Where, because you never know, somebody might be sitting here who might be like a plug, because I think that's a whole purpose of networking. It's like you said, it's interlinking, connecting people. So somebody might be sitting here looking for what you're offering, or might be holding a connection to the next client that you are looking for.
So for me, I do a keynote speaking on being the best you can be, which looks at 3 pillars on the power of you as an individual, the goal settings, and then the brand you as a person. So I do that as a 1-hour keynote speaking. It can be virtual, it can be online, or it can be face-to-face. I don't mind. And then I do a 3 months self-mastery coaching session. That is 6 hours. That can be done online. It can be done face-to-face. It can also be done as a retreat over a weekend by someone. So someone can say, I want your self-mastery coaching, but I want it over a weekend that you can do with my people or the team that they have. I then do that as well. And then that is, I can also do it as a half day, but looking more on the practical side now on that half day. So I call it Dream It and Living It. So we do the limitless part, and then we do the self campaign as well. So I help people start thinking of what is it about their own personal campaign? What is it that they want when they're looking back at 90 years old? I started at 30, I started at 32, I started at 20 doing my own personal campaign, and now 90 years back, I've streamlined that and it's become me, you know. So I train people on that. It can be a half-day program. Out of the 4-day programs I do for SMMEs, I also take the customer service, the business development for corporates as well. So if you're a corporate that needs customer service, that needs business development, so I train you on how to do tenders, both local and international, because I've done that for 4 years while I was growing from my reception position. So corporate. So even if you want as an SMME, you've developed already, you want to set up your tender department, I can help you set up that tender department, putting the policies in place, etc. I then even do a half-day sales, because I was a salesperson, and you know, I can
business development background.
Yes, for half a day for corporates as well. So that's all I do as Nozi. So it's that training for 4 days for entrepreneurs. I take the customer service, business development, and sales for corporate. And then I can speak to students from primary, high school, tertiary, in college, executives as well, in terms of being the best you can be. I've packaged that quite nicely for the keynote speaking, even for the we can then add it on into the, if you're doing like a retreat for your self-mastery program. But it's normally 3 months, because I want to see that developing. I don't normally want it to be done on a 6 hours and it's finished. I want to do it on a 3 months, so that I can see month on month your growth, and then I can say you have actually developed from one level to the next. I've had people, I've had 2 clients who've done the 3 months coaching session, and then they'll come back like 7 or 9 months later, and they'll tell you, I was actually not in the right frame of mind at that time. I want to do it again. And you see the development now after they've done it even the second time around, you know, because they've unlock their mind. Every time they're thinking, actually, this is what was said, I must do, you know, so they want to do it on a more cognitive manner. So I've had people do that as well. But luckily, most of my things can be done online or on a face-to-face basis. I obviously prefer smaller crowds like 30 to 70 in a group, because it's more personal as well.
Yeah,
I
it's
always say I'm a
intimate.
personal,
Yes.
it's intimate.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
intimate. You've got time for
it's
everybody.
intimate. Time for everyone. And I only realized this because we started off with the municipality doing like 80, 100 people at a time. And just as a small testimony, I used to call my helper to help me with the registrations of the people for those 4 days. And do you know what? She actually resigned to become a fully fledged business person, you know, and all she does is the wig. She does the cornrow wigs. She sells them in Cape Town, Johannesburg, you know. And the motivation, she's always like, Sis Noz, I've made your one already, come pick up, you know. It's all from her doing that reception work.
It's empowerment. Yeah, it's so powerful.
It's empowerment. So I've got so many. For me, one of the things that have given me that resilience to continue is just seeing the impact that the people that I've interacted with, their change in mindset, you know, really keeps me going, and knowing that definitely you're on the right track, Nozi, and what you're doing is really, really needed in the South African market.
Absolutely, very powerful and very affirming. I think that's the most important thing. Like you said, to know that you are on the right track when you get feedback from those who are around you, and not you yourself telling yourself that job well done, because we live in a world that talks so much about self-validation. But when the true power of validation comes from those who are around you, who've experienced the work that you do. Nozi, we are in International Women's Month, and it's supposed to be a very, you know, we get to see a lot of people posting Happy International Women's Month, yada, 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 and all of that. And I think for me personally, I see it from a different context, and to every woman in this country as well, it's a different thing. Your thoughts around, you know, the challenges that the South African woman faces today, and the solutions as well. You being this social, because I don't think you are even an entrepreneur per se, in a sense where you focus on corporate, but you're more of a social entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, if I can say. What would be those core challenges that you think as South African women that we still face, and what would be the solutions that you can recommend as well? For you know, you've just came out of, you know, operation, you're a solo entrepreneur, and it's a lot of things that you've dealt, you know, with as a woman. What are those things, and how do we move forward as women in this country?
So one of the pillars in my conversation is brand you, and that is really around women solely. And okay, not solely as women, but as entrepreneurs as well. There's a muscle that I talk about that I give to women, and that is a muscle of significance. You know, women need to know that they're significant. Men have their egos. They walk into a room, they know they can do it immediately.
Exactly.
And we find with women, there's a muscle that is lacking, that is significance. Even for me as Nozi, I think within corporate, I was Miss Conlock because I was jovial, happy, you know, but I still lacked that muscle of significance, you know, and I had to develop it over time. And I always tell women, you must be able to put yourself out there, brand yourself. In any, guys, if you took out of 100 between guys and women, you would find that the guys have branded themselves so well. They know exactly what they're talking about. Even if they don't know what they're talking about, they've branded themselves.
And we'd even misinterpret it and say
it's
the ego. We would say it's the ego, but it's the fact that they are clear. They are very specific and clear
with what
in
they
terms
want.
of their understanding their significance. Yes.
So for me, I always preach the gospel to women that have a muscle of significance. You are so important as women. You're equally blessed, equally, you can multiply, you can dominate equally as a man. And I think we've assisted and helped everyone else except us as women. And I think for me, my cry is help yourself, woman, put yourself first, brand you. I know sometimes I always I'm a pain to my husband because I have to always do photo shoots, do this, but I want to brand myself. I want people to know out there that there's this warm, kind lady called Nozi,
who takes herself seriously.
Who takes herself seriously. seriously, who takes herself seriously. So to women out there, being this Women's Month, know that you are significant. Know that you're equally blessed as a man. You can dominate, you can multiply, and you don't have to put this multiply and dominance only around, okay, husbands, kids, family, in-laws. It can be yourself first before the long list that comes in yourself. And don't be afraid to brand yourself. Brand yourself. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you stand up for. Be clear and be clear and confident in the things that you're wanting to sell. And I had to learn that as Nozi. And if I had to learn it, you definitely can do it as well.
Such a powerful reminder, because you are mentioning something so powerful, and that we tend to neglect ourselves as women. And because I think the way that God has designed us, that we are very selfless. And in that selflessness, we forget ourselves. And that is where we also lose the essence of our significance. And such a powerful reminder that you're telling us that help yourself first. Fill up your cup. It's very important, because we like to give out from a place of emptiness, and it leads to burnouts, to frustrations, and to a lot of stuff. So what a powerful message that you shared with the women that are tuning in today, that help yourself. Be aware of your significance, build it up, and take care of yourself, brand yourself, take time, because it also works with your confidence. You're so right, Nozi. The moment that you step up in the morning, take your shower, and do your makeup, it absolutely stimulates your mood. It enhances how you feel inside. It's all about that inner work that you do for yourself. Going back to that, I love your slogan, innovation through self-mastery, right?
Yes, that is for Nozibele Solutions. And as you're speaking, I'm actually reminded of my, I have a Circle of Global Businesswomen, which was a project I did while I had a women development program in France. And the slogan there is, be that giant of a woman. So I'm tall, I'm a giant, but I don't shy away from that as well. So sometimes as women, we take our negatives and we just have a pity party over them. For me, I've said, be that giant of a woman, so don't have to put a lot of negatives before finding your positive. Even use your negatives to be a positive, So yeah, that's me, as being that giant of a woman.
No, you absolutely leave your words, you leave your slogans, because like I said, the first time that I saw you, you stood and you held the microphone. And obviously your height was one of the things, but the confidence and the way you projected your voice stood out for me. It was a lot of things, because, in a room full of multitude, I think there were over 100 women were inside there, and you just stood up and you made your comment. For me, it was just that, the confidence and embracing who you are and what you have, and not shying away from it and having pity parties. Nozi, it has been such a fabulous and a great, great honor to connect with you again, and still having you in my circle. Any last words to those entrepreneurs, those who want to start businesses and they were like, yo, I definitely need Usis Nozi in my corner. I've just birthed this beautiful baby. I don't know how to move with it into the next levels and the segments. Any last words for them, and also your details as well for those who are keen to connect with you, and definitely could use your services, and especially now in the Women's Month, any company or corporate organization or municipality that is looking for a keynote speaker, bring this woman on board. She is going to come in and cause a ginormous turnaround within your organization. I recommend her personally myself. Nozi, any last words?
I think we must be cognizant of what being a leader is, and being a leader is not just being Mandela or being Oprah alone. You must be a leader in your environment every single day. As an SMME, be a leader within your business. You're an executive. The moment you sign that document and it says CEO, director, people don't take that realistically as well. You are that director. You are that leader. So start making decisions that prove that you are a leader. And this is across all institutions. This is across all anywhere in South Africa, anywhere across the globe. The more we have a leadership mentality, the more we can say that we want to grow ourselves as change makers. It might not be something that you do cognitively, maybe something that you're doing already as a change maker. Duplicate now what you're doing. You know, have another change maker coming up behind you. Have another leader coming behind you. Because I really believe the world is made of you duplicating yourself and multiplying. You know, don't just be a one-man island and die that way. You know, so for me, we are all born, we get birth certificates, but we never have a certificate of what is it that is my purpose. And it's a discovery that one has to do within their life. And really, Nozibele Solution is here to help people discover that certificate of why was I born? Why am I here? How do I curate this purpose? And I know we try multiple things before we get to the core. I've done it as well. And because I'm a living testimony of the road that is less traveled by so many people, I'm here to say, try the journey of entrepreneurship, try the journey of being an SMME, try the journey of growing that business to a middle-sized organization. Take that middle-sized organization and take it to a large organization. And for me, I'm here to motivate you to do that, to get your mindset unlocked, to say, I can have a large organization. And I think for me, the reality, as I said before, of saying, I want to have the right investors in my business. I want to have an office. I want to have people around me. I don't want to be a solo entrepreneur anymore. You know, I want to grow to the next level. Have that hunger, you know, within you as an entrepreneur. I'm available on Nozi at nozibelesolutions.com. I'm available on Facebook as Nozi Sogoni and Nozibele Solutions, Instagram, Twitter as well. But I always love people, we work on WhatsApp quite a lot with people. So I give out my number, which is 061 547 6009. I do work within office hours, though, within my line, just to keep it more professional as well. But definitely it's 061 547 6009. People can drop me a WhatsApp. I can easily call them back as well on my line. And yeah, I'd love people to connect with me as much as possible. Definitely. Thank you for this opportunity as well, Ati, and the platform.
Great. So brave, fearless, resolute, and very clear. And like I said, definitely one of the women in this country that I'm keeping my eye on. I can't wait to watch how Nozibele Solutions and Nozi as well unfold over the next couple of years to come. It is certainly a beautiful journey and a very rich journey that you are in, and a great path. And I foresee a woman who is going to be working with governments, and I can't wait to see you at the top. It has been such an enriching moment. You are leaving me challenged, and I believe as well our listeners that are tuning in at this point in time, they are definitely going to be challenged to start looking at those inner muscles, especially my muscle of significance, that we as women, we need to revisit and start working on ourselves. Great session. I am truly blown and humbled. Nozi, thank you so much for coming into studio. We will be sharing her contact details for those entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and those who just love to connect with Nozi because of who she is. We will be posting her contact details on our page on Facebook. And yeah, she is available. She's ready to serve, a true leader and the type of woman that we definitely need in this country. Thank you once more, Nozi. Have a blessed afternoon, and a blessed afternoon to our listeners as well. Catch you next week. Ciao and goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.